of sectors. You might think of what is a sector. I always think of a pizza. When I think of sectors, I always think of a pizza. And I think of a round pizza and someone just takes a slice of that pizza. Someone's like, well, what geometric figure is that slice of pizza? Well, some people are like, well, it's just a triangle. Well, triangles look like this. You gotta kind of factor in the crust as well. But this part right here is kind of rounded, part of the circle, and that's what a sector is. There's actually a restaurant out in Colorado somewhere. I can't remember where it is. It was a long time ago. It was called Sector Pizza. And basically you could order your pizza not by the slice, but by the sector. And sector basically meant by the slice. You could order 45 degrees of a pizza. You could have 90 degrees of a pizza. You could have 180 degrees of a pizza, or you could order a whole 360. So they had these different names in their titles. It's kind of clever, just to say you wanted a whole pizza. They even had the 720, which is a 2-pizza deal. Kind of a neat kind of concept for what we're talking about. But if you can remember that a sector is just a slice of pizza, I think you're going to be fine. To find the area of a sector, multiply the circle fraction by the area of the circle. Well, let's talk about circle fractions. When they said that they wanted 360 degrees of a pizza, that meant they wanted one whole pizza. When they said 180, that was basically like half a pizza. 90 degrees was like 1/4 of a pizza, and 45 degrees, basically 1/8 of a pizza, or kind of like a slice is really what it was. And this was 2. So what we're doing here is we're basically taking these numbers and we're dividing by 360, because 360 degrees is one whole circle. And we're looking at what part of the circle are we talking about. So for us, we're going to take that circle fraction, or whatever our angle measure is, we'll divide by 360, and that'll give us our circle fraction. And we're going to multiply that by the area of the circle. So our equation here is the area divided by 360, the angle divided by 360 times pi r squared. One way to write this, area equals our angle, pi r squared, and then divide by 360. Okay? If you needed to memorize this, you can memorize it. You might put it on a note card if you have a note card. Find the area of each sector. It did say keep pi in your answers, and sometimes this is useful. I want to kind of try it a little bit different today. I want to round to the nearest hundredth. Show all your work and circle your final answers. So in this case, remember that area is equal to A, which is our angle, times pi r squared. We're going to divide that by 360. They give us our angle measurement to be 45 degrees, and our radius is 20 centimeters. From there, we're just going to substitute in. So it's going to be 45 times pi times 20 squared, and then we'll just divide by 360. When we put that into our calculators, we really just put it in 45 times pi times 20 squared divided by 360, and literally if we round to the nearest hundredth, we'll have 157.08 square centimeters. And that's how we're going to have to round this. Just for this assignment, I think we're going to work on to the nearest hundredth. Just a quick way of finding with the pi in your answers. We kind of worked on that in another lesson. Today we'll just round to our nearest hundredth. Number 2, we basically will say area equals. In this case, they give us our degrees on the outside as opposed to the inside. Either way is fine. They both will tell us what portion of this circle it is. So we'll say that's 60 times pi, our r in this case is 10, so we'll take and square the 10, divide that by 360. When we put that in our calculator, 60 times pi times 10 squared divided by 360, we should get 52.35987. That 9 tells us that we're going to round that up, so we'll have 52.36, and our units are going to be inches, so we'll say square inches for our area. The next 2 problems are really similar, except they don't go ahead and they don't tell you the degrees right offhand. So this symbol means that these are perpendicular, which means this is 90 degrees. So we'll simply go ahead and say area equals 90 times pi times 6 squared divided by 360. And I'm sure we could find the answer there to be 28.27 square centimeters. In number 4, they go ahead and instead of, they just say each one of these 3 parts are equal. So that tells me that this is 1/3, this is 1/3, and This is 1/3. So if I go back to the idea that this is a circle fraction times the area, I could just say, hey, that's 1/3 times pi r squared. Or in other words, that's going to be 1 times pi, my radius is 24 squared, divided by 3. Okay, that's where the 1/3 is. The 1's on top, the 3's on the bottom. Just a way to picture your fractions. You're always going to multiply the top by the whatever the numerator is, in this case a 1, and divide by whatever the denominator is. In this case, when we do this, we should get a pretty big number, 603.19 square feet. Okay, let's look at working on these problems and taking them backwards. Sometimes they can give you the area of the sector, and I'm just going to say, instead of finding the area of the entire circle, I'm just going to say find the radius. Okay, I'm sure that you guys can find the area of the entire circle just by using pi r squared, but I just want us to find the radius, so that should be enough work. A little complicated. I'll write out the formula again. This is a pi r squared divided by 360. Okay, I'm going to substitute in what I know. I know the area of the sector is going to be 17.46. That's going to equal 100 times pi. I don't know r, so I'm going to have to solve for that and divide by 360. Order of operations tells me what I do first. Would be to multiply the stuff on the top times the r, and then divide by 360. So in order to undo all that stuff, I'm going to actually multiply by 360 first. So first I'll multiply both sides by 360. What that gives me is a pretty large number, 6285.6 equals 100 pi r squared. At that point, the 100 and the pi are multiplied by the r squared, so I'm going to divide both sides by 100 pi. I'm going to put that in parentheses just so I remember to divide by both those numbers. Some calculators will pick that up and some will need the parentheses, otherwise they'll give you a really crazy number. This gives me that r squared equals is right about 20. So if I was to write this out, this is 20.007, and there's a whole bunch of digits after that, 6, 8, who knows, whatever else. And what I have to do is I have to take the square root. Most teachers won't let you just like type in the square root of 20.007 and get the right answer. If you don't carry out enough decimals, there might be enough a precision problem that you might get the wrong answer. So usually most calculators will let you input the last answer, the last thing that you talked about. That's what I'm hoping for you. So for this one, you would get 447 meters for your answer there. Okay, so that's where we're at. For this next one, we'll work on the same process. It's the exact same process for these next two. So we have our formula. We'll say 39.52 is going to equal, this is 175 pi times r squared. We'll divide that by our 360 degrees. We'll multiply both sides by 360. I'll just draw these guys in here. Multiply by 360 over here. Multiply by 360 over here. That'll get your 360s to cancel. We'll have a really big number, 14,770, nope, 227, sorry, I said that wrong, 0.2 equals 175 pi r squared. We'll divide both sides by 175 pi. 175 pi. Again, I would keep that in parentheses so that your calculator knows to divide both of those. You'll get approximately 25.872. There's some more digits on here. Make sure that you use all of those digits when you take the square root of both sides. So that leaves us with r equal to 5.09 inches. Okay. The last one's a little tricky, and this is what you'll see a lot probably on homework. We haven't talked about this yet. We're really looking for the area of the shaded region. Well, what it gives me here, the area of the shaded region here is a 100. The area of the shaded region here is 175, and it doesn't give me the area of the shaded region here. Okay, what it gives me is it gives me the area of the white region, or the unshaded region. So since the entire circle is 360 degrees, I basically take 360 and I subtract the 78 from it to get 282. Okay, so when I set this problem up, I'll have area, which is 20.89 equal to 282 pi r squared. I'll divide this by 360. I'll let you to try to solve this. I'll tell you what the answer is just so that you know what it is. When you round it to the three significant figures, you should get 2.91 feet would be your answer. So make sure that you're able to do that and to show all that work for that. Again, what we're talking about today is we're talking about sectors. You can think of it as a piece of pizza. You're just finding it. Again, the formula, your circle fraction times your area of your circle.